Today's news highlights 20250828. Date August 28, 2025. Republic of China August 28, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights 82-year-old Grandpa Xia has lived alone for more than 30 years, still maintaining health and vitality, regularly training and stretching every day, planting flowers and plants, climbing mountains and insisting on cooking by himself, and has no chronic diseases so far. He believes that living alone brings freedom and autonomy, and allows him to arrange his life to his heart's content. Experts pointed out that there are about 97 elderly people living alone in Taiwan, and although living alone may affect their mood, if they maintain exercise and a positive attitude, they can activate their bodies and minds, prevent osteoporosis and dementia. Doctors also recommend establishing community support and cultivating exercise and social habits to lead a healthy and happy life in old age. News highlights modern nutrition has found that it is rich in water-soluble dietary fiber and antioxidants, which can help lower cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, promote bowel movements, and even reduce the risk of gout and cardiovascular disease. However, grass jelly is a cold ingredient, and people with cold bottom constitution such as cold hands and feet, menstrual pain, or frequent urination should not eat a large amount, and it is recommended to use red dates or dried longan to neutralize the cold. Drinking grass jelly tea in moderation can not only quench heat and thirst, but also become a daily health drink. News highlights Li Tangyu, a 39-year-old weight loss specialist, once gained weight to 94 kilograms and exceeded the standard blood sugar due to overeating in college and hospital work pressure. He tried extreme diets and excessive exercise but failed, and finally switched to a high-protein, balanced diet and intermittent fasting, combined with light aerobic and daily activities, successfully losing 25 kilograms to 69 kilograms. He emphasized that the key to weight loss lies in continuous diet and exercise strategies, not extreme methods, in order to maintain a healthy body. News highlights Premier Zhou Rongta announced a major cabinet reshuffle on the 27th, launching the AI Action Cabinet 2.0, with a total of 16 cabinet members changed, covering administration, economy, health and welfare, sports, and other ministries. The new appointments include, Zhang Dunhan took over as Secretary General of the Executive Yuan, Gong Mingzhen was promoted to Minister of Economic Affairs, Ye Zhengxian became the Chairman of the National Development Council, Shi Chongliang took charge of the Ministry of Health and Welfare, and Lin Yujing was appointed Minister of Digital Development. The Ministry of Sports will be established in September and will be led by Olympic gold medalist Li Yang as the first minister. Zhou Rongta hopes that the team will give full play to their professionalism and quickly integrate to jointly promote national affairs. However, Kuomintang Chairman Zhu Liluang criticized the reshuffle for lacking sincerity in reviewing and hoping that the government would return to people's livelihood. News highlights the U.S. Department of Commerce announced on August 26 that it had made a final ruling on the anti-dumping and countervailing investigation of corrosion-resistant steel, COR, imported from Australia, Brazil, Canada, Mexico, the Netherlands, South Africa, Taiwan, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates and Vietnam, determining that there was dumping or subsidies, involving about $2.9 billion. According to the ruling, Brazil has the highest tax rate of 137.76% and Vietnam has reached 110.21%, making it the country with the highest tax rate this time. In addition, only Brazil, Canada, Mexico, and Vietnam are subject to countervailing duties. Whether to officially impose taxes in the end remains to be decided after the U.S. International Trade Commission confirms the damage to the U.S. steel industry. News highlights due to structural defects in the Cacacado-Sinclair hydropower station in Ecuador, Power China must compensate Ecuador with $400 million, symbolizing that the Belt and Road Tofu Dregs project has begun to be held accountable. The power plant has cost nearly $3 billion, but since its opening in 2016, there have been controversies, cracks, water leaks, inefficiency, and even endangering the Amazon ecosystem. Experts pointed out that this case sets a precedent for claims by the injured country, which may trigger a chain effect. Nepal has requested that the debt of the Central Lone Airport be converted into grants, and large-scale protests have erupted in Serbia due to the collapse of the project. Commentators believe that the Belt and Road is degenerating from a diplomatic tool of the CCP to a global mess of claims and debts, eroding its international image and financial affordability. News highlights the latest research shows that lung adenocarcinoma is not only related to smoking or air pollution, but also preservatives and additives in processed foods may also form nitrosamines, which can induce cancer. Academia Sinica's Taiwan Cancer Moon Landing Project collaborated with the United States to analyze samples from 406 patients in Europe, the United States, and Asia, and found that women are more sensitive to food preservatives, while men are more affected by tobacco damage and air pollution, explaining the increase in the number of non-smoking female cases worldwide. Experts pointed out that lung cancer can be sucked in or eaten, and there are even high-risk subtypes with early but advanced characteristics in clinical practice. News highlights Huang Yinji, chief economist of Sinopac Holdings, said that although the global economy has continued to expand, it has slowed down, coupled with the uncertainty of the Trump administration's new tariffs and Section 232, Taiwan's economy and Taiwan stocks will face challenges. He pointed out that Taiwan stocks have risen more than 7,000 points since April, and if the 232 clause is implemented, it may be corrected by about 2,000 points, and the index may pull back from 2.4 to 2.2, but there is still a chance to see 2.6 in 2026. The biggest impact of Section 232 is on the semiconductor and electronics supply chain, which may reduce Taiwan's GDP by 1%. He emphasized that Taiwan stocks still have the potential to challenge the high level before the challenge, but in the long term, tariff policy risks need to be strictly guarded against. News highlights: the 2025 HBR Management Annual Conference will be held on August 27, with the theme Trump 2.0 times AI, Facing Dual Changes, and Wang Dingkai, General Manager of AWS Taiwan and Hong Kong, shared how Amazon uses AI and automation to build enterprise resilience. He pointed out that under the dual impact of global politics, economy, and technology, enterprises must improve autonomy and combine automation and autonomy to reduce costs and respond to sudden challenges. Amazon is improving efficiency with bots and generative AI, and driving growth through an innovative culture of problem-solving, employee proposals, and rapid trial and error. Wang emphasized that leaders need to forget past experiences, embrace the unknown, and face the future with the latest technology and an open mind. News highlights: the U.S. government acquired nearly 10% of Intel's shares last week, and Treasury Secretary Bessent said that it may invest in shipbuilding and other industries in the future, but whether the military industry will be included has not yet been decided. He emphasized that Taiwan and TSMC's dominance of the chip industry poses a security risk to the United States. The next Fed chairman will be nominated by Trump and is expected to be announced in the fall. In terms of trade, US-China talks continue to make progress. News highlights: Meta expanded its AI data center in Louisiana, USA, with an investment of $500 billion, 4 times the original plan, driving a significant increase in demand in the optical communication market. Meta's demand for optical communication modules is the highest in the industry, with a GPU ratio of 1:12, far exceeding the 1:4 of Google and AWS. The industry estimates that the shipment volume of 800G optical modules will double from about 1,000 in 2024 to 2,000 in 2025, and will reach 3,500 to 4,000 in 2026, with an annual growth rate of 75% to 100%. News highlights: the legal person pointed out that the continued strength of the index will force short orders to be replenished, further pushing up the market. The financing balance increased by 14.1% in the short term, and the number of securities lending increased by 27.9%, indicating the accumulation of long entry and short pressure. AI groups, semiconductor supply chains, and policy beneficiary stocks drove the bullish atmosphere, and the decline in foreign open net short positions also showed a bullish signal, and chips and capital momentum supported the index to challenge record highs. News highlights: Taiwan stocks performed well in the third quarter, driving the performance of Taiwan stock ETFs to rise simultaneously, especially semiconductor stocks. ETFs with a high proportion of semiconductors, such as Prudential Market Cap Momentum 50, 009803, and Fubon Taiwan 50, have benefited the most. Under the advanced process and U.S. investment layout, the impact of tariffs is limited, and mature processes and packaging and testing equipment industries can also be flexibly adjusted. The legal person pointed out that the acceleration of AI applications and interest rate cuts are expected to continue to support technology stocks, and investors should choose targets with a high proportion of industries, growth, and strong bargaining power in the layout of ETFs. News highlights: Taiwan's high-speed rail has been in operation for 18 years, and the traffic volume in the first half of the year has exceeded 3,984 people, and the annual estimate has exceeded 8,000. In response to the surge in passengers, the high-speed rail will launch new systems of designated non-reserved seats and quiet carriages, and divert crowds through early bird discounts and scheduling. From September 22, the quiet carriage is prohibited from talking on the phone in the car, and violators can be refused boarding. The new train N700ST will arrive in Taiwan next year, equipped with double-decker luggage racks and wheelchair seats. The high-speed rail is carrying out the 2.0 project to welcome the launch of new trains in 2027 to improve transportation efficiency and ride quality. News highlights: Foreign Minister Lin Jialong was recently rumored to be secretly visiting the Philippines to attend the Subic Bay Economic Forum and inspect investment opportunities, but the itinerary was low-key and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not confirm it. Philippine Foreign Minister Lazarus said that there was indeed a visit by a Taiwanese economic and trade delegation, but it was unclear whether Lin Jialong would accompany him. The trip attracted attention from the outside world, with Philippine media questioning whether to test the bottom line of the One China policy, and a Philippine poll showed that 80% of the people did not trust China. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs only confirmed that the Economic and Trade delegation was composed of the Ministry of Agriculture and Taiwanese and American companies, and did not comment on whether Lin Jialong visited in person. News highlights: the maternal and infant brand Mom Feed claimed that the amount of baby formula milk sugar was as high as drinking 2 bottles of Coke, causing controversy. The industry issued a statement and threatened to sue netizens for using the video to curse. Physician Duchinch criticized this move for creating panic among mothers, pointing out that most milk powders only contain lactose, which helps children's brain development, and the benefits of breast milk do not mean that milk powder should be discredited. He emphasized that formula milk can stabilize family work and rest, and called on mothers not to fall into breastfeeding anxiety, and publicly stated that "I want to sue." News highlights: Sun Anzuo and his parents Sun Peng and Diying were cheated on by their girlfriend Miss J, went to Thailand to find a fake mother and had a discordant family, causing controversy. Sun Anzuo and his current girlfriend Johnny Zhang made a video to clarify, denying the content of the revelations, and Johnny said that he had never gone abroad with Sun Anzuo and did not know the situation at home. The agent suspected that the whistleblower was his ex-girlfriend Anna, and showed a line conversation to prove that he had announced the news. Diying criticized the news for being boring, and the weekly magazine still published the content, while Anna asked Sun Anzuo not to wear her clothes to make a clarification video on IG. News highlights: she said that the scandal stemmed from the retaliation for refusing to sign a brokerage contract, emphasizing that the mountaineering records were completed at her own expense and were never faked, and also expressed heartache about the psychological pressure caused by cyberbullying and attacks. Zinger thanked his supporters for their company, reiterated his pride in Taiwan, and promised to continue to work hard to complete the summit challenge and let the world see Taiwan's courage and perseverance. News highlights: after the defeat of the general recall, President Li Qiang launched a cabinet reshuffle, and 16 cabinet members were changed, but media person Huang Vihan believed that only 4 people really felt it, including Minister of Economy Gong Mingzhen, Minister of Health and Welfare Shi Chongliang, National Development Council Chairman Ye Zhongxian, and Minister of Digital Affairs. He pointed out that the change of deputy minister is not worth discussing, and the real key is the layout of the minister and the British who hold great power, especially Zhang Dunhan took over as Secretary General of the Executive Yuan, indicating that the real power of the party department and the political yuan is concentrated in the hands of British people. News highlights: public television Taiwanese channel Happiness in Good House invited Olympic boxing gold medalist Lin Yuding and coach Zhang Ziqiang to share their gold medal experience and boxing experience. Hosts K. Dabao, Liang Yunan, and others expressed their admiration and emotion for Lin Yuding, and K. Dabao even expressed his support to her on the spot. Lin Yuding talked about the need to maintain stability during the competition, and was most moved to see the national flag raised when receiving the award. Coach Zhang Ziqiang shared his 17-year master-apprentice relationship with Lin Yuding, who is both a strict teacher and a family member, and even interestingly talked about the small episode of buying underwear, showing the deep friendship and warm interaction between the two. News highlights: Xiao Yixuan, Elva, recently returned to the music scene and performed well in mainland talent shows, but recently she was rumored to be in love with her Turkish boyfriend. In this regard, Swanya Entertainment urgently clarified, pointing out that the media photos were mistakenly identified as Elva was rehearsing the show that day, did not show up at the airport, and did not have this boyfriend. The agency said that Elva has recently focused on her career and self-growth, is temporarily single, and devotes herself to music creation. News highlights: actress Jiang, Lin Jialing, recently revealed that she laid off the veteran employee Song because she couldn't bear it many times, and listed 6 major crimes, including poor work attitude, often losing memory cards, failing to report progress, late submission to manufacturers, and even privately contacting her Japanese biological mother to interfere in housework. Jiang explained the reason for the dismissal on August 14 in the live broadcast, and expressed confusion about the black letters and discussion posts that appeared on Card during the same period. Song responded in the community, thanking them for their 3 years of working together. News highlights: American pop queen Taylor Swift got engaged after 2 years of dating American football star Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift shared a sweet proposal photo and said with a smile, "Your English teacher and physical education teacher are getting married." According to his father-in-law Ed, Travis prepared a 10-carat vintage diamond ring as early as July and asked Taylor Swift's family for consent, and finally chose to propose on one knee in his garden. News highlights: senior artists Sun Peng and Diying were recently revealed by Miss J, who claimed to be Sun Anzuo's girlfriend, saying that Sun Peng was distracted by Lin Xiaoyi, the subject of the scandal, 10 years ago, and threw money to buy a house, causing conflict between husband and wife, and even caused Diying to collapse emotionally and self-harm. The report also mentioned that the Sun family quarreled frequently. Diying started after drinking, and Sun Peng interacted intimately with the woman. In this regard, Diying strongly denied it in an exclusive interview with TVBS News Network, saying that if things go as the revelations say, she will not be able to continue to coexist with Sun Peng and will sue the whistleblower for severe defamation. News highlights: Hong Kong veteran actor Tuan Wei Lun is known for his tough guy image and superb martial arts skills, and his representative works include Interpolic, Streets of Stormtrooper Fury and Police Story, and served as Jackie Chan's assistant and bodyguard for 15 years, and is known as Jackie Chan's left and right protector. Duan Weilun entered the industry in the 1970s, and although he played mostly supporting roles, his performance was deeply loved by the audience. In recent years, he has faded out of the entertainment industry. His physical condition is not good. He suffered a stroke, and died of kidney failure yesterday, 27th, at the age of 67. His friend Liu Huiguang expressed shock and would assist his family in handling the funeral. News highlights: when singer Yang Zhonggui participated in a concert in Xining, Qinghai a few days ago, he accidentally fell from the stage and was rushed to the hospital, where he needed to recuperate for at least half a month. Today, 28th, he posted on Weibo to report his safety, describing that he was in an auspicious place, nourished by the aura of mountains and rivers. His illness gradually healed, and his mind was stable, and mentioned the 918 incident and the history of China's war of resistance, calling for remembering the truth and protecting peace. Fans were moved by his words and sent their blessings, hoping for his speedy recovery. News highlights: Soho numerology experts predict that in early September 2025, there will be 4 zodiac signs with high financial luck. Rat people have a smooth career, high opportunities for promotion and salary increase, and good investment luck from September 5th to 15th. The dragon has the help of nobles, and the income of the main business and side business may increase, especially the benefits of e-commerce operators. Monkeys are more prosperous and suitable for business negotiations and investment in stocks and funds. Pigs are prosperous in their finances, and their workplace performance is easy to be appreciated, and they can be promoted and raised their salaries or expand their career territory, and at the same time, they can take the initiative to invest in financial management. News highlights: U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent pointed out in an interview that 99% of the world's high-end chips are produced in Taiwan, posing a serious national security risk to the United States, comparable to the 1973 oil crisis. He emphasized that the Trump administration promoted the CHIPS Act to protect the interests of taxpayers in exchange for subsidies in exchange for part of Intel's equity, and did not rule out replicating this model in other industries such as shipbuilding. Bessent believes that the United States must complete the de-risking of the economy by 2029, otherwise it will be regarded as a failure in governance, but he believes that Trump can solve problems with a businessman mindset. News highlights: at 9/11 last night, a magnitude 6.0 earthquake occurred off the coast of Yunnan, and the earthquake was strongly felt in the north, which sparked discussion because the epicenter was located in the northeast corner. The Meteorological Bureau pointed out that the energy of the earthquake is equivalent to half an atomic bomb, but due to the depth of 112 kilometers, the impact of the disaster is reduced. Taipei feels particularly obvious, which is related to the amplification effect of soft soil layers. Experts said that the number of earthquakes of magnitude 6 or above in Taiwan has increased in recent years, and the world has also entered an active period, with 94 earthquakes of magnitude 6 or above occurring in 9 months. News highlights: when South Korean President Lee Jae-myung visited the United States, he gave Trump a brown wooden pen, which unexpectedly set off the presidential pen effect. Trump praised the perfect handwriting and even held the pen for 2 minutes, heating up the atmosphere. After the news broke, the stock price of Minami, a veteran Korean pen maker, soared by more than 60% for 2 consecutive days, hitting a 19-month high and driving the Kospi index up. This pen is made by the Korean handmade brand Zinal, and due to the surge in orders, the official website has announced that it will suspend orders, emphasizing that the president's exclusive model will not be sold to the public. News highlights: Honhai founder Terry Go and his wife Zheng Xinying's youngest daughter QQ has recently become the focus. Zheng Xinying released QQ photos and videos for the first time to promote her own dance competition, only to see her challenging difficult movements such as handstands and lower waists, showing elegant and stable posture and amazing core strength, completely inheriting her mother's dancing talent. In the promotional video, QQ appeared in a sweet and handsome look, arousing curiosity from the outside world. Zheng Xinying proudly wrote "My QQ baby" and revealed that both daughters love dancing, and the eldest daughter Niu even performed on the same stage with IU, showing her professional strength. News highlights: the theatrical version of Demon Slayer, Infinite City Chapter 1 exceeded 5.6 billion yuan at the box office in 17 days after its release, becoming the second highest box office of Japanese films in Taiwanese film history. Since the film is more than 2.5 hours long, the internet has set off a discussion on how to avoid running to the toilet halfway, and even circulated a home remedy that eating mochi before watching can stop urination. Many netizens have measured and reported that it is effective, but urologist Gu Fengyu pointed out that the water content of mochi is limited, and it is recommended to eat high-protein foods instead, because the decomposition process requires water consumption, which can delay urine production. He reminded that if you don't drink much water and still urinate frequently, it may be related to overactive bladder and you need to pay attention. News highlights: YouTuber Xiang Lin Jialing confirmed that he had been severing veteran photographer Song for 3 years, and listed 6 major controversies in the live broadcast, including private contact with Japanese mother and deletion of messages, failure to notify foreign friends of coming to Taiwan, multiple loss of files, failure to respond to meetings, failure to report progress and video delays leading to breach of contract. She emphasized that severance pay has been announced and given in accordance with the law, and the dismissal is not without reason, and called on the outside world not to accidentally injure other employees. The news sparked discussion, and Song denied the involvement in the black letter on IG, admitted that there was negligence in his work, and thanked Jiang for the fate of 3 years of cooperation. News highlights. Some netizens asked on the forum, "What will the boss do that will make you leave immediately?" Sparked heated discussions. Many people share personal experiences, including being asked to write hourly reports, bosses being overly stingy, emotional blackmail, losing their temper, disrespecting professionalism, and even supervisors directly stating that they will not promote you. Some people also complain that the boss goes back on his word, holds ineffective meetings, delays until get off work, and intervenes inefficiently. Netizens generally believe that drawing a big pie and double standards are the most offensive, and bluntly say that instead of being deceived and expecting, it is better to communicate honestly to avoid wasting each other's time. News highlights. A premature newborn in Tainan had to be transferred from National Cheng Kung University Hospital to Lingkao Chonggung on the morning of the 28th due to breathing problems, and the whole process of intubation took about 3 hours by car. The family called on passers-by to give way to the ambulance in advance on the online community to avoid bumps causing the snorkel to fall off. At 9:45 this morning, the ambulance departed, and was escorted by 2 Red Zebra National Highway police cars, and is currently driving north on National Highway No. 1, hoping that the baby can arrive smoothly for treatment. News highlights. After the DPP's defeat in the general recall, personnel adjustments were launched, and the presidential office also changed its senior management. Su Kuiyong took over as party secretary general. 44-year-old Zhang Dunhan became the youngest secretary general of the executive yuan in history, while Zheng Junsheng, the poll leader of the Tsai Ing-wen era and former director of the polling center, was appointed to take over as deputy secretary general of the presidential office. Zheng Junsheng has assisted Tsai Ing-wen in mastering polls and election strategies in the past, and has a good relationship with Pan Meng'an, secretary general of the government, and has a bridge role. This move is seen as Lai Ching-te's strategy to integrate different factions in the government and the party, and grasp the pulse of public opinion and policies. News highlights. After the defeat of the 2 waves of recalls in 726 and 823, a wave of reviews was set off within the DPP, and many cadres of the party group announced that they would not renew their terms. President Lai Ching-te said that the cabinet adjustment will help enhance action, be close to public opinion, and reuse young and professional talents, including the Minister of Sports Li Yang, the Secretary General of the Executive Yuan, Zhang Dunhan, the youngest in history, and the Chairman of the National Development Council, Ye Zhongxian, and the Minister of Economic Affairs Gong Mingzhen. Lai King emphasized that the new cabinet will prioritize the economy, people's livelihood, youth, and the disadvantaged, and pointed out that the re-election of the party caucus will be more in line with social expectations. News highlights. Recently, a strongest trailer hunk Meng Qinghao appeared in Sankong, New Taipei, who became popular because of his handsome face and strong muscles. 28-year-old Meng Qinghao also worked as a towing driver during the day, and his shoulder and arm muscles burst, attracting the attention of many female car owners and netizens. Privately, he is the owner of a mattress shop, and because he doesn't want to stay in the office all day, he crosses industries and leaves the store affairs to his girlfriend. The head of the towing company praised his work attitude, believing that it is rare for young people to be willing to join the industry. News highlights. The American Institute in Taiwan, 8, recently met with Taiwanese politicians from various parties, but the photos posted on its Facebook page sparked discussion. Technology expert Su Maihua analyzed and pointed out that 8 deliberately presents differences in attitudes with representatives of different political parties. The Kuomintang and the People's Party keep their distance and have a restrained expression when they meet. Huang Qiaoqing is even more stinky face, while the meeting with the DPP Chen Kamai and the Kaohsiung branch director shows a happy tacit understanding. 8 deliberately delayed the release of the message, so that the photos on different occasions created a sharp contrast, showing the attitude and distance of the United States towards Taiwan politicians, and conveying a subtle political message. News highlights. A premature newborn in Tainan Xiaoping'an was transferred from National Cheng Kung University Hospital to Lingkao Chonggung on the morning of the 28th due to breathing problems, and the whole process required intubation for about 3 hours. Parents called on National Highway 1 drivers to give way to the ambulance. Indiana. The Facebook group to avoid bumps causing the snorkel to fall off, and the post quickly received 2.4 likes and more than 7,000 shares, and netizens left messages wishing the baby safety. Xiaoping'an has set off and is escorted by the National Highway Police. Parents thanked everyone for their concern and emphasized that this post is only a reminder to road users in advance, not to trouble others. The police also called on drivers to abide by the rules of courtesy and cheer for the baby. News highlights. In addition to the general summons of KG Unming, a number of cadres of the Legislative Yuan Caucus expressed their stance not to renew their terms, and it was rumored that they would launch a joint signature to request a re-election of the general election. President Lai Ching-te said in an interview on the 28th that the government, the court, the party, and the party group should all carry out necessary restructuring or re-election to meet the current challenges. Party Secretary General Su Kuai-yong has taken office, the Executive Yuan Cabinet is also undergoing reshuffle, and the National Security Council will also introduce new blood in the future. Li King believes that if the party group is re-elected, it will be more in line with social expectations. News highlights: A strongest trailer hunk Meng Qinghao appeared in Sankong, New Taipei, who became popular for his handsome face and strong physique, with obvious giant muscles on his arms and exquisite facial features. A few days ago, some netizens shared a picture of him towing an illegally parked motorcycle on Threads, which sparked heated discussions, and Meng Qinghao himself also appeared to leave a message, clarifying that the towing behavior was not a personal decision. After investigation, he is 28 years old this year, a part-time tow truck driver for the owner of a mattress shop, and chose to work part-time because he did not want to sit in the office for a long time. The supervisor of the towing company praised him for his positive work attitude and the rare young people who are willing to do this job. News highlights: The American Institute in Taiwan, 8, recently met with Taiwanese politicians from various parties, and the photos posted on its Facebook page sparked discussion. Technology expert Su Maihua pointed out that the atmosphere of the photos when 8 met with different parties was obviously different. For example, Gu Lian kept a polite distance when he was in the same frame as Huang Qiuakang, did not shake hands or compliment, one had a serious expression, and the other smiled, conveying a subtle message. 8 deliberately postponed the public meeting with Huang Qiuakang by 1 day, so that the news of the meeting between the Kuomintang and Gu Lixiang would ferment first, and then posted a photo of Huang Qiuakang to show that he accurately grasped the message delivery. Su Maihua believes that 8's move highlights the subtle distinction and strategic arrangement of its attitude towards Taiwan politicians. News highlights: In response to the party's internal review after the defeat of the general recall, President Lai Ching-te said that the government, the court, the party and the party group should all carry out necessary restructuring or re-election. The Secretary-General of the DPP was appointed by Su Kuai-yong, the Executive Yuan is also undergoing a cabinet reshuffle, and the National Security Council will introduce new blood. In terms of the Legislative Yuan caucus, cadres except for the General Call K. Jianming have expressed their stance not to renew their terms, and it is rumored in the party group that they will jointly sign the general election, pointing at K. Jianming. Li King emphasized that the re-election of the party group will help improve the governance close to public opinion and be more in line with social expectations. News highlights: After the DPP lost all the recalls in 726 and 823, there was a wave of review within the party, except for K. Jianming. The remaining 6 party cadres announced that they would not renew their terms, and it was rumored that they would launch a joint signature to re-elect the general election. President Lai Ching-te attended the opening ceremony of the Asia-Pacific Parliamentarians Federation on the 28th and said that the government, the court, the party and the party group should all carry out necessary restructuring or re-election to meet the current challenges. The Executive Yuan Cabinet has also been adjusted, with a total of 16 ministers and deputy ministers changed, including 2-time Olympic gold medalist Li Yang as the Minister of Sports, and Zhang Dunhan, Secretary-General of the Executive Yuan, the youngest in history. Li King emphasized that the new cabinet will prioritize economy, people's livelihood, youth and disadvantaged as its policy goals, and be closer to public opinion. News highlights: A magnitude 6.0 earthquake occurred in Yunnan County at 9:11 p.m. yesterday, 27th, which was generally felt in northern Taiwan. At that time, the diva Zhang Hui was changing clothes backstage at the Taipei Arena concert, and the earthquake alarm on her mobile phone made her feel a little nervous, but the performance was still successfully completed. Fans said that the mobile phones of more than one people at the scene rang the alarm at the same time, which was an amazing scene, and some people were worried that the elderly audience would be frightened to heart discomfort. Zhang Hui also cared about the safety of fans during the encore, and everyone said that although they knew about the earthquake, they were not frightened. Another netizen shared that while jogging at Bangqiao Stadium, 300 people's mobile phones rang the alarm at the same time, feeling as terrifying as an air raid. News highlights: An 88-year-old woman surnamed Zhang was driving a Mercedes car while pushing a resource recycling vehicle through the slow lane. The police said that Chen Nan's alcohol test value was 0, and a urine test had been taken to investigate the effects of drugs. News highlights: On June 19, 2008, a drowning case of a man surnamed Hu was reported in a fish pond in Anding District, Tainan. The original case was determined to be suicide, but the prosecutors found that the confessions of the 3 were similar and appeared at the same time at the time of the incident, and the autopsy also showed that there were multiple abrasions and contusions before death, which were not caused by falling into the water. The prosecutors then reopened the investigation and suspected that the 3 were involved in causing death. News highlights: Recently, the short drama market has risen, and many new actors have suffered health damage due to the high intensity of filming. Hangzhou Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine announced on the 27th that a 24-year-old skit actress Xiaoyan was diagnosed with malignant signet ring cell gastric cancer. Xiaoyan started filming commercials and MVS in college, and after graduation, she devoted herself to short dramas, with a tight filming schedule, irregular meals, and mostly relied on coffee to support her physical strength. The doctor said that signet ring cell carcinoma is rare and malignant, progressing rapidly, and is often found at an advanced stage. News highlights: the chain hot pot brand Chikuma had a consolidated revenue of 25.43 billion yuan in the first half of this year, but a net loss after tax of about 4,732 yuan, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. Although Chikuma hot pot and its barbecue, teppanyaki, sauerkraut fish, and other brands are all over Taiwan, and meal prices continue to rise, due to the rapid expansion, the restructuring of its brands and the increase in operating expenses, profits are not as expected. Tsukuma said that it will take brand optimization as the primary goal, eliminate the weak and retain the strong, strengthen the layout of mid-priced and affordable brands, and plan to develop new Chinese-style formats and cooperative brands, hoping for a steady recovery in revenue in the second half of the year. News highlights: after swallowing 3 packs of Indonesian brand camp noodles in one go, he developed severe abdominal pain, vomiting and profuse sweating in just half an hour, and then fainted at home and was sent to the hospital, and finally died on the way to the hospital. The investigation found that the noodles were non-toxic, and the cause of death was dehydration, digestive tract obstruction and acute gastrointestinal problems caused by eating a large amount of raw noodles at one time. The incident once again sparked a safety controversy over short video challenges, with experts warning that excessive or improper consumption of instant noodles may be harmful to health. News highlights: in recent years, microplastic pollution has become a global health concern, and the latest research shows that these tiny particles may accelerate human aging and are associated with chronic diseases such as irritable bowel syndrome, cirrhosis, and cardiovascular disease. Emergency physician Zhang Shiheng reminded that microplastics are difficult to excrete from the body and can also damage intestinal flora and cell function. He suggested daily ways to reduce risks: filtering drinking and cooking water, avoiding shelled seafood offal, choosing to gut or small bottom fish, regularly cleaning household dust, and reducing the use of heated plastic containers. Through habit adjustment, health threats can be effectively reduced. News highlights: yesterday, 27th, a magnitude 6 earthquake occurred off the coast of Yunnan, with a maximum seismic intensity of 4 in Taipei and Yunnan. The video shows that the tower notifies aircraft preparing to land to cancel their approach, hover in the air, and arrange for diversion, reflight or waiting because the runway needs to be checked for safety. Netizens praised the professionalism and shared the scene of witnessing the plane flying and circling again, calling it the first time I saw an earthquake plane flying again, so novel. News highlights: a Taiwanese woman in her 40s suffered a sudden cerebral hemorrhage while traveling to Okinawa, and underwent emergency surgery and took a medical plane back to Taiwan for treatment, with a total cost of up to 253 yuan. Life insurance consultants suggest that when applying for travel safety insurance, the amount of overseas sudden illness and accident medical insurance should be increased to more than 1 million, confirm whether it covers COVID-19, and try to add travel inconvenience insurance as much as possible to avoid facing high medical expenses and causing family financial crisis. News highlights: Sun Anzuo and his new love Jenny Chan recorded a video late at night to clarify, denying the identity of Miss J as revealed by the Weekly News, but his ex-girlfriend Anna posted a photo of wearing a blue hat on IG and welcomed screenshots, questioning why Sun Anzuo was still wearing her clothes, and broke more information about Sun Peng and Du Ying's family insiders, including Sun Anzuo once held Du Ying's chest to sleep, and was jealous of the competition for ammunition in the United States, and finally was not sentenced to a heavy sentence because important parts were hidden under the bed, costing about 300 yuan. News highlights: a man in his 50s thought he was eating lightly, and his 3 meals were mainly porridge, noodles, and steamed buns, with almost no meat and seafood, and a lot of fruit intake, but a routine examination found that LDL cholesterol rose from 160 to 180. Surgeon Chen Rongjian pointed out that a high-carb light diet can easily raise blood lipids, emphasizing that balanced nutrition and adequate protein intake are the keys to cholesterol control. 1 month after dietary adjustments, the patient's LDL dropped to 120, indicating that correct diet is crucial for blood lipid management. News highlights: Japanese second-hand trading platform Mercury will completely ban the sale of fetal ultrasound photos from September 1st, and products that have already been on the shelves must also be removed from the shelves. Although the official did not explain the detailed reason, Japanese media pointed out that some products may be used by malicious people for fake pregnancy fraud or even ask for abortion fees. Hiroyuki Nishimura, the founder of the online forum 2CH, also commented on the matter on the community, which sparked heated discussions among Japanese netizens, calling out "this world is terrible" and expressing understanding of the ban. News highlights: Li Qiana got married at the age of 19 and gave birth to her daughter Gu Ying, and now 21-year-old Gu Ying has also stepped into the music scene. Mother and daughter live together and sign a contract. She released the Taiwanese album GNNA Stage Show, that section passed by Ruan Ducao after 7 years, playing classic Taiwanese songs with the theme of electronic floats, and invited Chen Jianwei and Wang Zaiwen to cooperate. Li Qiana supported her daughter in participating in the talent show and was proud of her daughter's performance. In addition, she and Huang Shanghe have a son, Yellow, who already has 3 children and still hopes to have another child. News highlights: many people think that eating less oil and meat and eating lightly is healthy, but excessive lightness may cause sarcopenia, what traditional Chinese medicine calls weakness of the spleen and stomach, leading to muscle loss, physical decline, and immunity decline. Doctors recommend that a truly healthy diet should be sufficient, balanced, and absorbable, including sufficient protein, fish, eggs, soy products, chicken, high-quality fats, nuts, avocados, olive oil, deep-sea fish oil, low GI carbohydrates, colorful fruits and vegetables, drinking plenty of water, and regular exercise to maintain muscle and overall health. News highlights resistance exercise is a key strategy to combat sarcopenia and delay physical decline in old age. Studies have shown that after 12 weeks of full-body resistance training for 3 times a week, the cross-sectional area of the quadriceps muscle increases by about 10–11%, the lean mass of the whole body increases by about 2%, the knee joint straightening strength increases by 38–46%, and the ability to live daily life is significantly improved. Resistance training includes freehand squats, elastic bands, or weight-bearing exercises to reduce the risk of falls, improve bone density, and delay muscle loss. It is recommended to do it at least 2 days a week, covering the main muscle groups, 8–12 times per movement, gradually increasing the intensity, and performing it safely and regularly to enhance muscle strength and self-care ability. News highlights: after the failure of the DPP's 823rd recall, the party pointed the finger at K.G. Unming, the head of the Legislative Yuan Caucus, and the voice of forcing the palace increased. K quoted the 7 Steps poem to justify himself, emphasizing that the general recall was for the majority of the Congress. Legislator Lin Dehua expressed his support for K.G. Unming yesterday, 27th, calling on comrades in the same party to review themselves and build consensus, and emphasized that he would not participate in any targeted CO signing of party cadres for the re-election. At present, many cadres of the party caucus have resigned, and the new Secretary General Su Kuiyong is coordinating with various factions and the presidential office to convey the intention of party chairman Li Qiang. News highlights: in response to the tariff adjustment of imported cars from Taiwan and the United States, Tesla launched a limited-time discount project from August 27 to September 30, providing discounts or insurance subsidies of up to 10 yuan for Model 3 RWD, Model 3 Long Range, Model 3 Performance and Model Y. Among them, the price of the Model 3 series has been reduced by 8–10 yuan respectively, and the Model Y enjoys an insurance subsidy of 6 yuan. However, due to the rise in international transportation and raw material costs, the prices of the new Model S and Model X have increased, indicating that some models have not yet been substantially reduced. The purpose of the offer is to stimulate year-end buying and attract new car owners. News highlights: in recent years, the mountain rat group composed of migrant workers has been illegally logged down in the Rena Township industrial forest area in Nantou, including the 1,000-year-old Taiwan red cypress, and Xiaonan, and a giant cypress tree worth 25 million was even disemboweled and died. After more than a year of monitoring by the Nantou District Prosecutor's Office, together with the security police, local police stations and forestry units, 14 strongholds in Nantou, Zhonghua, and Taichung were searched on April 22 and May 15 this year, and 1.2 tons of wood and crime tools were seized. The prosecution emphasized that it will continue to strictly handle illegal logging cases to protect mountain and forest resources. News highlights: Taiwan is still affected by the easterly wind of the Pacific high pressure, and there will be local brief thunderstorms in the central and southern and northern mountainous areas in the afternoon. Former Meteorological Bureau Director Zheng Mingyan pointed out that the current summer monsoon in South Asia is strengthening, and the monsoon trough has once again penetrated deep into the equatorial region of the Northwest Pacific Ocean. He reminded that the monsoon trough is an important indicator for observing the typhoon season, and it intersects with the Pacific high pressure and trade winds to form a low pressure zone. News highlights: the Labor Insurance Bureau of the Ministry of Labor issued a number of allowances on the 28th, including labor insurance annuity, disaster insurance disability care subsidy, labor retirement monthly pension and national pension insurance maternity benefits, a total of 5 payments. In June 2025, the number of labor insurance annuity claimants will be about 200.4 people, with a total payment of about 383.8 billion yuan, with an average of about 19,152 yuan per person. The national pension maternity benefit can be applied for by women who give birth or give birth prematurely during the insurance period, about 39,522 yuan for 2 months, and the proportional increase for twins and triplets is within 5 years from the date of delivery. News highlights: the DPP government and the Yuan Party launched a personnel review, the cabinet was reshuffled with 16 members, and the Legislative Yuan Caucus also exploded a teapot storm. Party Secretary General Su Kuiyong invited various factions to hold a meeting to convey President Li Qiang's will to reorganize the party group, and if necessary, legislators will be co-signed for re-election. Li Qiang said that the government, the court, the party and the party group should all be reorganized or re-elected, and emphasized that cabinet adjustments can improve administrative efficiency, reuse young people, and take into account professionalism and experience. News highlights: numerology experts predict that in early September, the fortune of the 4 zodiac signs will reach its peak. Rat people's careers are favored by their superiors, they have the opportunity to be promoted and raised, and they can also earn passive income from investment. Dragon people have strong career operations, with the help of noble people, their income has increased, and their side hustles also have outstanding income. Monkeys are more prosperous and suitable for business negotiations and investment in stocks and funds. Pigs are having good financial luck and receiving recognition in the workplace, which can not only be promoted and raised, but also create a career territory, and financial investment also has the opportunity to make a profit. News highlights: the new party secretary Su Kuiyong held a cross-faction meeting on the 26th to convey President Li Qing's desire to reorganize the party, and asked Pan Meng'an to negotiate with the general Call K Jianming. At present, in addition to K Jianming, 6 people, including Secretary General Wu Saiyao, Secretary General Chen Piyu, Deputy Secretary General Lin Chuyan, Wang Yushuan, Lin Yuqin, and Guo Yuqing, have announced their resignation. Wu Zijia, chairman of Formosa Electronic News, broke the news that Li Qing issued a kill order with the intention of dealing with K Jianming, but no one in the party dared to really take action, and Su Kuiyong launched a joint signature action. News highlights: acute lymphoblastic leukemia, ALL, is a highly lethal blood cancer with a rapid progression and early symptoms such as fatigue, fever, and abnormal bruising that are easily overlooked. Adult patients are difficult to treat and have a high risk of recurrence, requiring active follow-up of minimal residual disease, MRD, and if MRD is positive, further immunotherapy or allogeneic stem cell transplantation is required to reduce the probability of recurrence and improve long-term survival. After treatment, regular follow-up visits and tests are still required, and daily protection is maintained to ensure the recovery of immune function and avoid the risk of recurrence or infection. News highlights: the KMT will hold a party chairman election on October 18, which is regarded as a key battleground for the 2026 local elections and the 2028 presidential nomination. The current chairman, Zhu Lailun, supported Taichung Mayor Liu Ziyuan's candidacy but was rejected, and both of them intend to plan for the 2028 presidential election, and the party chairman election has become the focus of political offense and defense. Legislative Yuan President Han Kuo-yu also has the strength to compete, but he must resign as a legislator and president, facing a major choice. Coupled with the blue and white combination and the dynamic interference of the People's Party, if the new chairman is not handled properly, it may trigger a crisis of power struggle within the party. News highlights: Southern Electric, 8046. It rose strongly in early trading on the 28th, with 1 point during the session rush to the daily LIMIT 226 yuan. The legal person pointed out that the growth of ABF and BT business has increased utilization rate and gross profit margin, and were revised upward. Revenue will reach 390 billion yuan in 2025. BT business increased in July. DDR5, DDR4 and control IC items increased by 25%. ABF is driven by 800G and AI demand, with AI throughout the year revenue accounts for about 12%. The supply shortage of T-glass is expected to continue, and the ABF industry is expected to balance supply and demand in the first half of next year. Foreign HSBC Securities also upgraded the rating of China Southern Electric to buy with a target price of 243 yuan. News highlights: NVIDIA launched its new AI robot brain, Jetson AGX Thor, triggering a boom in concept stocks. Information Semiconductor distributor Synex, 2347, obtained cross-strait agency rights, and its stock price jumped to 65.5 yuan on the 28th, a new high since April. Yideng, 3048, also locked the daily limit to 34.8 yuan during the session, and the stock prices of Advantech, 2395, and Innodisk, 5289, continued to rise, performing well. Jetson Thor can run multiple generative AI models at the edge and is known as the robot brain, with development kits priced at $3,499, and dropped to $2,999 for more than 1,000 mass-produced modules. News highlights: according to the latest National Chengchi University Yongqing Housing Price Index, in the second quarter of 2025, the housing prices of buildings in the 7 major metropolitan areas fell across the board, with Hsinchu County and City falling by as high as 3.7%, Tainan by 2.7%, and Taichung and Kaohsiung by 2.1% and 1.7% respectively. Apartments in the Shuangbei area continued to fall, with Taipei City falling in all quarters, expanding to 3.2% this quarter, and New Taipei City also falling 3%. Yongqing Real Estate Research and Exhibition Center pointed out that the tightening of bank mortgages and credit control continued, coupled with the seller's willingness to make profits to promote transactions. The market buying sentiment has cooled, and it is expected that the housing market will still show a pattern of volume shrinkage and price decline in the second half of the year. News highlights: NVIDIA's July quarter revenue hit a record high, reaching $467 billion, about NT $1.5 trillion, but data center revenue was slightly lower than expected, and its stock price fell nearly 3% after hours. CEO Jensen Huang pointed out that although AI demand is strong, growth may slow down in the future, and it is estimated that the largest AI company will spend $3 to $4 trillion in 5 years, and Nvidia is expected to hold a 70% market share. Sales of newly launched Blackwell series GPUs increased by 17%, and the first server customers included Disney, Hitachi, and Hyundai. Huang emphasized that he will continue to expand the application of data centers and high-end AI chips to capture the global AI boom. News highlights: Taipei City Gongguan Circle has become a hotspot for accidents due to the complex 7-fork traffic line, and this year's casualties are still the highest in the city. The city government plans to demolish the roundabout, fill in the bus underpass, and change it to a 4-fork orthogonal intersection on September 13, with construction for 65 days and is expected to be completed in late November. Social Democratic Party lawmaker Miao Boya and People's Party lawmaker Zhang Haihao criticized the city government for not fully communicating with the council and the people, making hasty decisions and going against public opinion. News highlights: a shooting occurred at a Catholic elementary school in Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA, this morning, killing 3 people and injuring more than a dozen people, most of them children. At the time of the incident, students were having morning mass, and 5th grade student Hassan was hiding under a bench, and his friend Victor was shot to protect him and is currently in stable condition. The FBI has classified the incident as a homegrown terrorist and hate crime against Catholics, and the shooter is Robin Westerman. U.S. President Trump ordered the national flag to be lowered to half-mast until August 31. This case once again highlights the long-standing unresolved and political controversy of gun violence in the United States. News highlights: Nvidia's financial report for the second quarter of fiscal year 2026 was impressive, with revenue of $467 billion, adjusted net profit of $257.83 billion, and earnings per share of $1.05, both better than market expectations, but the stock price plummeted 5% to close at $181.60 after hours. The main reasons include the revenue outlook for the next quarter being slightly lower than some analysts' expectations, the Chinese market being affected by U.S. export restrictions and competition from domestic chips such as Huawei, and the soaring revenue of Chinese rookie Cambrian Technology, making it a potential competitor. CEO Jensen Huang still emphasizes strong demand for AI, with AI infrastructure spending expected to reach $3 to $4 trillion by 2030, and Nvidia is expected to continue to dominate the global AI chip market. News highlights: at 9:11 p.m. yesterday, 27th, a magnitude 6.0 earthquake occurred off the coast of Yunnan, and the people in the north obviously felt strong shaking up and down the floor for more than 10 seconds, accompanied by the sound of the ground, and the national alarm sounded. Some people described it as bounce hard first and then shake it from side to side. On the morning of the same day, pod-shaped clouds, commonly known as flying saucer clouds, appeared in the north, triggering discussions about earthquake omens, but experts said that this cloud airflow was formed by the influence of the terrain and had nothing to do with the earthquake. News highlights: Zhang Wei, the son of Zhang Anil, president of the United Promotion Party, is a director of Huaxiadati Travel Agency, and has embezzled company assets since 2013 and illegally donated to the United Promotion Party. The investigation revealed that Zhang Wei used his company account to embezzle approximately NT $1,389 and may have absconded to Hong Kong in November 2024. Zhang Anil said that his son felt that the crime was inexplicable, so he refused to go to prison. News highlights: after the recall case, a wave of resignations from the DPP Legislative Yuan Caucus cadres emerged, and Wu Saiyao and 5 other female cadres and Deputy Secretary General Wang Yushuan all resigned. President Lai Ching-te said that the reorganization or re-election of the party group is a necessary step that meets social expectations, and pointed out that the party's Central Committee, the Executive Yuan and the National Security Council have all made personnel adjustments recently. Ke Jianming's follow-up trends and whether the party group will start the re-election have become the focus of attention. News highlights: the Executive Yuan announced yesterday, 27th, the personnel case of the newly established Minister of Sports, which was succeeded by 2-time Olympic badminton gold medalist Li Yang, becoming the first sports minister in Taiwan's history. In order to avoid commercial disputes, Li Yang had to give up his endorsements and business cooperation, with a rough estimate of losses of about 30 million yuan. He said that all compliance procedures have been completed and thanked the outside world for their concern, emphasizing that the significance of serving as Minister of Sports is not measurable in money. News highlights: the re-election of the chairman of the Kuomintang will be held on October 18. Zhu Lailun will hand over the baton. Taichung Mayor Liu Zaihuan announced that he would not run for election, and legislators Luo's Haiqiang, Zhang Yazhong, Zhang Luan and Xia Dianlin expressed their stance to compete. Recently, it has been rumored that there may be heavyweights in the party running for election, which has attracted attention from the outside world, but Xiao Susan, CEO of the Ma Ying-jeou Foundation, said that Ma Ying-jeou will never run for election and advocates that young leaders lead the Kuomintang back to power. News highlights: in 2022, Ms. Zhang accused Taipei City's Yingtiangong of using her dementia father to sign 9 real estate donation contracts with a total price of about 1.8 billion yuan. The Northern Court determined that the old man had delusions at the time and sentenced Xingtiangong to cancel the registration of 2 real estate transfers in Indiana's Inyi district. Ms. Zhang said that she would recover the remaining 7 houses, while Xingdianggong said that the court would not respond during the trial, and the criminal case had been applied for reconsideration and sent back to the Beijing prosecutor's office for further investigation. News highlights: the legal team of former People's Party chairman Kei Wen's filed a complaint this year that former Beijing City Vice Mayor Peng Zhensheng and others were suspected of being improperly interrogated by the prosecution, and requested to examine the interrogation audio and video recordings. Today, 28th, the Taipei District Court held a court examination video and found that the prosecutor hinted that Peng Zhensheng would become the second Yuan and questioned the improper inducement to plead guilty. Peng Zhensheng did not appear in court due to personal matters and was represented by a lawyer, and his previous testimony was postponed to September 2. News highlights: a magnitude 6.0 earthquake occurred off the coast of Yunnan at 9 p.m. yesterday, 27th, with the epicenter close to Gishan Island, but only a magnitude 1 seismic intensity was felt on the island. The reasons for the analysis of earthquake science fan pages may include: Gishan Island is andesite, and the shock wave is not easy to amplify, the direction of seismic wave transmission is not large with the vertical component of the surface, the side effect in the basin affects the seismic sensation. During the earthquake, people in the north first felt the vertical vibration of the P wave, and then felt the horizontal shaking of the S wave, explaining the difference in feeling up and down first, then left and right. News highlights: popular Korean idol groups Rise, Le Seraphim, Stray Kids and IVE will attend the 10th Asian Star Gala, AAA 2025, held at the Kaohsiung National Stadium on December 6, bringing exciting stage performances. Rise's debut album Odyssey sold more than 180 copies in its first week. Le Seraphim made 4 consecutive albums in the top 10 of the Billboard 200, Stray Kids' new album Karma sold more than 200 in a single day, and IVE made a comeback with IVE Secret and appeared on the Lollapalooza stage for 2 consecutive years. The award ceremony and AAA Festa will be held on December 6 and 7 respectively, with the cast including stars such as Park Bo-gum, IU, and Kim Yoo-young, with a luxurious cast. News highlights: actress Jin Soo-hyun participated in Youth with U2 and announced in April this year that she would quit the entertainment industry and return to ordinary life. On the 28th, she posted a photo of her shaved head on the social platform, revealing that she shaved her hair and tried on a wig 10 days ago, saying that everything will get better and better. The inch head shape in the photo makes the facial features more three-dimensional, but the eyes are slightly tired, and the height is 172 centimeters and the weight is only 45 kilograms, which has aroused fans' attention to his physical and mental condition. Netizens reacted polarly, with some praising him for his brave attempt, while others were distressed about his health and emotional state. News highlights: mainland actress Yoo Shuk-sun became popular for starring in King Lanju, but recently fell into controversy. Her father, Yoo Pija, used cash to buy high-priced famous brands for her during the height limit, and was questioned that he might commit the crime of refusing to execute an order to circumvent court restrictions, with a maximum penalty of 7 years. After the incident was exposed, Yoo Shuk-sun lost more than 72 fans within 7 days. The studio emphasized that she is not directly related to her father's business, but the outside world is still concerned that the family business may be involved in the loss of state-owned enterprise assets and legal issues, which has sparked heated public opinion. News highlights: at 9:11 p.m. yesterday, 27th, an earthquake of 6.0 on the Richter scale occurred off the coast of Yunnan, with the epicenter close to Gishan Island, but Gishan Island only felt a magnitude 1 seismic intensity. Earthquake science fan seismic awareness analysis of possible reasons. First, Gishan Island is andesite, which is not easy to amplify the earthquake sensation. Second, if it is an earthquake in the submerged zone, the direction of the shock wave energy is not vertical, and the transmission to the south is stronger. Third, the basin side effect will affect the seismic sensation. The Meteorological Administration pointed out that seismic waves include P waves, vertical vibration, and S waves, horizontal vibrations, usually up and down first and then left and right, and the amplitude of S waves is larger, making them more likely to cause disasters. News highlights: when a couple in Kaohsiung rode a motorcycle back in the early morning of this morning, 28th, the woman, a 20-year-old woman surnamed Zhu, was suspected of fatigue driving and suddenly crashed into a lottery shop at the intersection of Fengsong Road and Wenlong East Road. The police initially ruled out drunk driving, but blood tests are still pending, and the cause of the accident continues to be investigated. News highlights: when a citizen was preparing to pay for his child's tuition recently, he was shocked to find that the tens of millions of deposits in his account had been emptied by a fraud group. The gangsters impersonated the 165 anti-fraud hotline, falsely claimed that their ID cards were stolen and were involved in criminal cases, and threatened to be accomplices if they did not cooperate, inducing the victim to provide their online banking account passwords. The police reminded that government agencies will never ask for account secrets or supervised assets over the phone, and the public should immediately call the 165 anti-fraud hotline to verify when receiving suspicious calls to prevent funds from being harmed. News highlights: the mainland's 93 military parade will debut next week, and Hong Lei, Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs, confirmed this morning, 28th, that the first press conference announced that a total of 26 heads of state and government leaders will attend, including Russian President Putin, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Cambodian King Sahamonai, Vietnamese President Liang Jiang, etc. In addition, there are a number of national speakers, vice prime ministers, high-level representatives, and heads of international organizations, indicating that the activities are of high level and wide participation, and are highly valued by all walks of life. News highlights: DPP legislator Lin Daehua has recently been involved in a relationship dispute with Shi Huangji, the abbot of Tongfa Temple, for running for the 2026 Kaohsiung mayoral election. She clarified on an online program yesterday, 27th, that the two are only a master-apprentice relationship, and the mention of the word husband in the conversation is just a personal inner confession, criticizing the weekly magazine for distorting religious confession into a love confession. Lin Daehua emphasized that he did not know the source of the weekly magazine, and called for attention to the leakage of prosecution data, and spoke out for Tongfa Temple, saying that the temple should maintain the essence of the holy place of purification and should not be politically manipulated. News highlights: after the general recall, personnel changes broke out in the DPP Legislative Yuan Caucus, and 6 cadres, including Secretary General Wu Saiyao, resigned one after another, leaving only KG Unming, the general manager, who has not yet expressed his position. President Lai Ching-te said on the 28th that both the government party and the party group should carry out necessary reorganization or re-election. If the party group is reorganized, it will also meet social expectations. Wu Saiyao and others emphasized that the resignation was to face the new situation and would take responsibility in their respective positions in the future, while KG Unming said that he would comfort the cadres, but the cadres still focused on the existing work first. News highlights: in the case of TSMC's 2NM process secret leakage, yesterday, 27th, the Intellectual Property Branch of the Supreme People's Prosecutor's Office prosecuted former engineer Chen Liming and current engineers Wu Bingjun and Ji Yiping in accordance with the National Security Law and the Trade Secrets Law, seeking 14 years, 9 years, and 7 years in prison respectively. The prosecution pointed out that there were only more than a dozen confidential photos leaked, and the 3 were not remade at Starbucks, but were taken away by the Bureau of Investigation at their respective residences. The leak was because Chen Liming induced alumni to assist in the supply of equipment from the new owner and did not pay any compensation, and whether there were other interests remains to be clarified.